Once upon a time, a long time ago, I was an electrical engineer on a building site.
How much money are you making at the moment from your agency?
So we're doing about 30k a month from the agency.
She was like, there's all this like woman empowerment going on.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I'm not going to brand it as just women, because men do it too. It's probably a lot of men do it.
Yeah.
But they're white labeling other people's shit.
Yeah, 100%.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another podcast. And in today's episode, we've got somebody very special. We've got Jack here from VA to You. Jack's a very special person. In the past few years, he's managed to make plenty of profits with his agency. He's actually from the UK, where I know a lot of you guys are from. So he's got some great tips to share on how you could start an agency. And he's got one very interesting method that he's using to scale his agencies that nobody is talking about. I had a call with Jack a few months ago, and it absolutely blew my mind the way he is optimizing agencies, and nobody else is talking about it. So this is going to be an insane episode. So grab a coffee, light a spliff if that's what you're into, and let's get going. Jack, pleasure to have you here, man.
Thank you, brother.
No worries.
And thanks for the introduction, Tyrell. I really appreciate it.
No worries, my brother. It's good to have you here.
Yeah, man. No, it's exciting. I mean, just to add to what you said, obviously reached out to you quite a while ago with regards to the, what we're going to get into today. And at first, it was a great idea from myself because it's something that we use to scale our own agency. And then obviously as I put it forward to you and whatnot, then you saw the application of it and we've kind of gone on from there, haven't we?
100%, Jack. So what's your story, man? Tell me about this leads, man, and then put the mic a bit closer.
A bit closer.
So people can hear. But what's the story?
Yeah, so the story, okay. I mean, once upon a time, a long time ago, I was an electrical engineer on a building site.
Gaffer?
I was a gaffer, yeah. I was actually, to be fair. I had a load of little minions running around under me.
Man.
But yeah, I like a lot of people, I think. It just seems like one of the easy routes, doesn't it? It seems like the basic way to go. And to be honest, it was something I enjoyed doing. I enjoyed the physical labour, but it was capped. There was always a ceiling. There was never quite the potential to do something like what we're doing now. So a couple of friends of mine set up an agency. It is now the leading TikTok agency in the world. So they actually partnered with TikTok. So they come as TikTok's recommended advertising partners. So it's called For You Advertising. I'll plug them in there.
I'll do it for you. Affiliate link down below.
But yeah, two guys that run that, went to school with them. So, we had a good relationship. And they basically gave us a bit of work, like an internship, at their initial agency, me and my business partner, Ryan. So we worked with them for just over a year. It was about a year and a half. And then they went on to do a coaching program. And we were actually one of their first students.
Wow. So
they had two other of my friends as a student, and then me and Ryan as students, and they basically we obviously knew the skills to run the agency, the skills to run the service and do the jobs within it, but the actual running the business and developing all the systems, the processes, and all the technical stuff that comes behind it, that's what they sort of ushered us and helped us to build through the program. So we set that up nearly 3.5 years ago now with the marketing agency as a result of that. And then, obviously, recently, more probably the last year and a half, we've gone down the virtual staffing route, which is super interesting because, as you mentioned, it's a really, really new concept. It isn't new in the sense that Bill Gates built his entire empire on the outsourcing model.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's essentially what he did. Jeff Bezos, pretty much all the billionaires use this model essentially. But we had the idea to do it on a much smaller scale. And a bit more of an intimate arrangement in the sense where we would help companies staff their business with remote employees, ultimately from remote parts of the world where labour costs are necessarily cheaper than they are in places like here in Dubai or back in the UK, but there's no compromise on skill level. If not, you get better skill from these employees just because of the fact that they are. They're experienced and culturally so hardworking out there. I mean, even yourself from experience.
100%. So before we get into that, because I have loads of questions in that kind of industry that you're working in, I want to know, you went from working on site, doing manual labor, electrician, to getting this apprenticeship with this marketing agency. What was the difference that you found, going from like your skill level? Was it a hard transition from that to working on a laptop for
Yeah.
kids? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think yes and no. In some respects, it was more challenging. In others, it wasn't. The areas it wasn't more challenging was winter. I was inside, I had the fire on, had myself a coffee. I was
toasty, hot chocolate.
I was comfy, but no. In terms of the actual scope of works, it was just a completely different ball game. I mean, what I was doing was quite technical to a certain degree, and there was a level of management. So I think that did help me sort of integrate into what we went on to do initially. But yeah, I think the two very, very different things. I mean, in terms of the agency, it's quite a basic model when you break it down. You deliver a service. The service is purely based on the results that you get from it, and then you acquire more clients.
Yeah,
Literally. I mean, that's oversimplified, but in a nutshell, they're the two main components to running the agency.
And what was a day like as as working on site as an electrician compared to a day working for a social media marketing agency as an apprenticeship?
Yeah, so day to day on site, you're with builders, you're with blokes that just don't know, they have a little bit of tunnel vision, I call it. There's not a lot of infectious people that you can really learn off and grow with. You get the odd one and you latch onto them, but yeah, the day-to-day life was very it was very hard work, very labor intensive. It was a lot of cold, rainy days, a lot of lifting and moving stuff, and in lofts and tight corners and standing and getting in all kinds of positions. And I think that the days as well, they dragged, to be honest. A lot of the time they dragged
as well, right?
Yeah.
What day did you usually start work?
So we started Monday to Friday, but I'd have to be at the yard for 7 a.m. Yeah, it was early. And then I wouldn't be getting home
grafting from them as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know this. I used to do manual labour. So a lot of people, I used to have to carry the bricks, or the leckies would just throw the fucking things off the ceiling.
The drums of cable.
Take that bitch, I'll be fucking carrying it away. But when you start at 6, you really start at 6.
Yeah, you really do.
You get your coffee, you have a little bit of whatever in the morning, and you get straight to it.
That's it. And then, you're doing all that work, and you're still, you're capped at what, 30 grand a year, 40 grand a year?
Yeah, before tax.
Before tax, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's super long days, super hard manual, labour intensive work, back-breaking stuff for, not necessarily the best rewards.
And how did the day look like for this TikTok agency?
Yeah, so it wasn't the TikTok agency that we did the apprenticeship with. It was they had a marketing agency as well. Their natural progression was they scaled the marketing agency. I think they do 500k a month or something stupid, and then they basically actually, so what the scale they got the marketing agency to in 3 years, they got the TikTok agency to in 1.
That's crazy.
Because of systems, processes, they had the team and whatnot. But yeah, a day with them was just a completely different ball game. I mean, I went down the sales route, the customer acquisition side of things. So it was a lot of just client facing, a lot more conversational stuff, just sharpening the skills in terms of, just talking with people. And I think that skill set is so transferable. We were talking about this earlier, and the fact that sales is life. You've probably all heard Andrew Tate say it.
Yeah, what happened in Thailand with his sales skills? This proves that. Sales is transferable.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I'll start with the fact that I let my girlfriend rent the mopeds, which didn't turn out to be mopeds. They were motorbikes, weren't they?
Oh, he's a proper crosser.
Proper, yeah, near enough, yeah. So this thing was like a 180cc bike, which you need a bike license to drive. So, and being an English person in Thailand, you can spot you a mile away. So obviously they flagged me down, pulled me over. First told me off for not wearing my helmet, which was my bad, to be fair. That was stupid of me. But the second thing was they looked at the bike and they were like, show me your license. Got my license out, all confident. I've got a driver's license, you know what it is. And then he looked at it, he was like, you can't drive this thing. I was like, oh shit. So he's like, okay, go to the police station now. And he's like, you got 1,000 baht fine to pay. So I went to the police station, and you know what it's like in Thailand. I got there, walked through the door. The guy looked at me, looked at my slip and went, 2,000 baht.
Nah, is that how he's going? Stuck it on you?
Yeah, he stuck it on me. So he added another 1,000 on. So I just looked him in his face, and I think this is what I was saying. If I didn't have this sort of sales experience and the understanding of how to talk to people, how to counter offers and whatnot, And I looked at him and I just said, the other guy over there said 1,000, just dead in the eyes. That was all I said. And he looked at me and he just went, okay.
Done.
Done.
You know what I mean? The power of negotiation.
Yeah, 100%.
Power of negotiation.
And I think it was just the confidence element of it, more than anything. And I think that like we said, through sales, you learn that. You learn how to talk to people, how to communicate, where you can get away with things, where you can't. And I think that, like we're saying, that skill set is super transferable through life.
100%. And this transition, so when you went from working, on site to getting this application to work with your friend for his agency, did he ask for any CVs or past experience?
No.
No?
Nothing.
Well, there you go. It goes to show that you don't need a degree to.
No, dude. No, you don't.
So
you need practical experience.
Yeah. How did you get that opportunity? How did it come across?
Yeah. So I got on the school bus with one of the guys actually. How it came about was just, I actually can't remember it now. I think it was either a phone conversation or a DM. We still good, yeah. Yeah, it came through him. I just reached out to him. I saw what they were doing. I'd obviously always had the mindset that I wanted to do something more with my life. So I saw what they were doing and I knew that technology in some degree was the route to go down. So I think, if I recall rightly, we reached out to them and they said, yeah, we'll set up a meeting. And then boom, literally within a matter of a week, I was like, right, I'm done.
You sent him a message?
Sent him a message, yeah. And he said, yeah, come, let's try it out. So I packed up my stuff and I went to work with them.
That's huge. And how long was you working with these guys before you decided to go on your own path?
Yeah, so it was about a year and a half. I think it was a year and a couple of months, and it was actually those guys that said, look, we're going to set up a coaching program, similar to yourself. We're going to basically mentor people to set up their own agencies. And there was a big team at the company already. Because we knew them and we were friendly with them, they kind of suggested to us, okay, it would make sense that you guys sort of pioneer this with us. You obviously understand the responsibilities within the agency life and what you need to do, but you don't understand how to run a business. So that's where they said, it'd make perfect sense. We'll coach you to run the business and you just carry on doing what you do for us, but for your own company.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was a good arrangement.
So they basically handpicked you as the beta group.
Pretty much, yeah.
What was involved in that coaching process and what was the biggest benefits that you got from that?
Yes, so there was. Where do I start now? It was a long time ago. There was obviously the first week we did all mindset stuff. So reading books, meditation, manifestation, positive affirmations, the full works. And that was really what sort of triggered us and sort of snowballed us into, setting up the agency and the success of it was because once we'd sort of started and got our mindset right, from that point onwards, there was where you would normally look at something and think, I can't do it. Because you'd had that mindset shift, it was a matter of, well, fuck it, we'll just try it. We'll just see how it goes. And so that was the first thing we did, a week of just mindset activities. Once we'd done that, it was getting into signing clients. That was the first thing they did. They said, we'll worry about the service delivery after.
Interesting.
First thing you need to do is get a client under your belt.
Interesting that one of the biggest agencies with doing 500k a month, their focus is client acquisition first, service delivery second.
Service delivery second.
Which is very interesting. A lot of people I meet, when they want to start their agencies, they spend 90% of their time worrying about, should I be doing this ad strategy or that ad strategy, or should I be doing this growth strategy or that growth strategy? And it's like, you ain't got a client yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like there's no point in worrying about that stuff.
Get the clients in, worry about it later.
100%.
And obviously, you do have to deliver a service, which is obviously what's going to keep the clients.
Yeah, of course.
But you ain't going to get no clients if you don't.
Yeah,
if you don't,
exactly.
Work hard.
And then on that, I mean, some people will say, well, okay, why would you want to take on a client that you can't deliver the service for? But this is where some kind of guarantee, if when you're starting out a free trial, there's nothing to lose for either party then.
Exactly.
And that then, you do well, you get a case study, you progress, you learn how to deliver the service, you optimize your service delivery.
Exactly.
But without a client, there is no point in doing any of that.
100%. So, going back to this mentorship, what was some of the challenges that you faced? Some of the roadblocks that you faced during the mentorship?
Yes. So, I think knockback's been a big one. Losing clients for stupid reasons. Are you talking about sort of our agency life or the actual program itself?
Agency life, yeah.
Yeah, so the obvious one being knockbacks, people leaving for whatever reason, whether it's personal, whether it's business related, whatever it is. Setbacks are always the sort of the biggest hit, and then what you then have a choice whether you decide to let it beat you and you sort of cave into yourself, or you come back twice as strong and you work twice as hard to get back.
Thanks.
And I think the biggest challenge was just looking at it for what it was, because when you scale to a certain point, 5-10k a month, 20k, whatever it is, and you can easily fall 5-10k in a matter of moments.
Yeah.
And at that point, everything you've worked so hard to achieve, you can lose it in a minute. But that's where the test comes from. You know what I mean? That's where the 100%. Test is coming from, and that's where if you stay resilient, you'll bounce back twice as strong.
100%.
I think that was the biggest challenge.
I agree, bro, because like along your journey, success isn't just like this. It's up, down, up, down, up, down. And that's the bet that you take on yourself as an entrepreneur. You can either live that life and take risk and be making 10k a month one day, 5k a month another day, 2k, 20k, go on that emotional journey. Or you can, sell yourself and work for $9 an hour. It's company, what I mean? Well,
that's not an option.
Yeah. I'd rather take option one.
Yeah, trust
me. It doesn't even matter if you lose a lot of money, you're still making more than what you would have made
100%.
Anyway.
And even not even from a monetary perspective, but what you learn in terms of your mindset and what you're capable of achieving is invaluable in itself.
Yeah, and the people that you meet,
100%.
We're chilling in a fucking fat ass office, got a Bugatti roof in the other corner, you know what I mean? Yeah, Porsche GT3 RS downstairs. We pulled up in a fucking Lamborghini Urus. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. Yeah. That's such a good point. Never did I think that I would be somewhere like this so early on as well. We've been going for 3 years.
Yeah.
This guy's touching on a billionaire.
Yeah.
Like you say, he's got a Bugatti roof sat in the corner of the office collecting dust.
Literally.
And it's just nothing. And I think that
take the Porsche or the Maybach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those are the options that you want to have in life.
100%.
And you get the opportunity to be around these type of people by living a risky life.
Yeah, 100%.
Living the life with no guarantees, unless you're providing guarantees.
Yeah. 7-day money back guarantee.
Yeah, exactly. Quick plug. Freelancer Fast Track, Side Hustle Club, link in the description if you want to learn 5 skills of making money online completely for free. Anyway.
Get into it, had to be done.
Yeah, I had to plug it in there. But
rightly so.
Exactly. Your story is very interesting because I get so many calls from people who work in a bricklaying or they work on site, and they think that just because of the journey that they've had that they can't make money. They think that they can't use a laptop. Like the limiting beliefs are endless.
100%. And this is I did a recent post on my LinkedIn, just to not jump too far into the VA side of things, but we actually flew 2 of our virtual assistants out to Phuket in Thailand last month to meet them. They worked with us for 2.5 years.
Huge.
But yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. What did you just say?
Post about limiting beliefs.
Limiting beliefs, yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I actually made the post about it because I was never techie, couldn't use a laptop. I could play FIFA on my Xbox, but that was about it. But I never ever enjoyed being in the environment or working on a laptop, and I never thought I could do it. And I think that through this journey, like you say, you just realise that every limiting belief you have can be broken and just completely smashed out the water. And now, all I have is laptop. That's literally it.
It's crazy, right? And you make some ridiculous spreadsheets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some ridiculous systems you build.
Yeah,
it's like
we've got the crypto king and the spreadsheet king.
Yeah, spreadsheet king, exactly, bro. And it's interesting because people don't realize to get good at anything takes time. When you was an electrician, you couldn't go out there and do fucking all of these circuit boards and connect all these things straight away.
Yeah, of course.
You have to work your way up.
100%.
You start getting good at a laptop by opening a laptop. You know what I mean?
I'm working. Yeah. It's like anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's interesting because a lot of the times there's such a big risk there's such a big idea that there's a risk when going into a new venture, setting up a business or whatever. So having a mentor, someone like yourself or like with us with the guys at SAW, the idea there is that they don't take the risk element away from it, but it's almost like they comfort you through the process.
Yeah.
You just need that reassurance when you have a bad day or you've done something wrong or you don't understand something. Just having a mentor there and having somebody to say, look, it's all right, just do this.
You're doing all right.
You're doing good.
Okay.
and then the next day you have an amazing day and you're like, what was I thinking yesterday? And I think it just helps to have somebody there, just somebody that's been there, done it before, and they know not to panic. Because, human instinct, you panic, something goes wrong.
100%. I remember with Rufus, you met him, right?
Yeah.
Rufus wanted to quit the mentorship. He rang me 2 weeks into the mentorship and he was like, bro, I don't think this is for me. I don't know. I don't know if I want to do this thing. And I said, bro, you know what? You might be right. But stick at it for a few more weeks. And if you still don't like it, we'll talk about it then.
And what did he do the other day?
5K.
Yeah. Signed 3 clients in one
3
day.
Clients in a day. Yeah. He's fucking, and it's amazing how quite often it's your own brain that builds these walls, and you just end up having to like build them up, knock them down, build them up, 100%. Knock them down.
100%. And it's like, it's anything new. Like even this environment for myself is new, but you just face it head on, do your best, and the next one you do will become better, and the next one will be better, and you're all relaxed and chilled out, and it's just comfortable for you now. But that's it's the only way to go through anything. It's just head on, straight through it.
Exactly, man. It's at the end of the day, it's a journey. So let's get on to some interesting topics. How much money are you making at the moment from your agency?
So we're doing about 30k a month from the agency.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And how long has that taken?
So that's taken, to scale it properly, just under 2 years.
Just under 2 years?
Yeah.
Just under 2 years. That's amazing. In 2 years, you've gone from 0 to 30k a month. How much of that is profit?
About 75% of it.
75%?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So one of the interesting things from the agency side that I've seen from you is you've got a different way of doing it. Tell me a little bit more about this VA side. And we'll go from there. In fact, let's get a water first. Do you want to drink water?
Yeah, cool.
We'll get a drink and then we'll come back. So tell me a little bit more about when you integrated VAs, whether you should start with a VA in your company, and what are the benefits? That's going to be a big one.
It is. Yeah, it is. Maybe first start off by saying what a VA is, because I think that there is a misconception around the term virtual assistant. A lot of people think it's not a real person to start off with. You get a chatbot on a website or something and somebody thinks, boom, that's a VA. A VA is essentially somebody that works in a virtual environment and they assist you with other tasks, various different tasks. I would class it more as a remote employee because, it's somebody that works, a real person that works on your behalf on different systems and processes within the business, just from another part of the world. But the industry we're in, why do you need to have somebody in your local office? That's the question that I ask. But on to your question, we integrated a VA within the first 3 months of starting the agency.
Interesting. Right at the beginning?
Right at the beginning. And that was as a result of our mentor's advice. They basically said, you need to get somebody, because at the time, we were, dealing with clients. We were obviously learning the service delivery side. Well, not learning, but we were really sort of delving into the service delivery side and the processes side of it. Because when you work for somebody, they have the processes. When you set up your own company, you have to make your own processes. So we were heavily involved in all of that, which meant that our outreach and, our outbound sort of customer acquisition process was falling behind. So that's why they said, look, you need to get somebody on your messages, on your emails, on your DMs, on a daily basis, just pumping out as much as they can do to attract new business. So that's what our VA essentially did for us starting off, just to help us gain some momentum. And then, from there, the applications have been crazy.
So the VA was doing the outreach?
VA was doing the outreach, yeah.
And what type of outreach were they doing?
We were doing Instagram DMs.
IG? That's mad.
Yeah, man. Yeah, cold DMs. And they were flying as well.
On your account or on the agency?
On my account. So we tried a couple of things. We did my account, we did my business partner Ryan's account, we did the agency account, then we tried the VA's personal account as well.
And did you have like a script and a follow-up process?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, so as we were saying about systems and processes, we basically just, again, an Excel sheet, top to bottom. This is the first message. 2 days later, this is the second message. 2 days later, this is the third message. And we tested all sorts. We did three-step follow-up processes. We did 5. We did 10. We did 20. throwing in GIFs, emojis, different
That's it.
images, we just tested everything. And I think that's one of the beauties of having a VA, because they are so cost effective. It means that you can experiment with stuff.
Yeah,
You're not just caged to what works. You can trial new things, and then you'll find something that just is like a gold mine, like a message or a DM that just hits that audience so well.
Sick.
And then from that point, you just scale it and scale it and scale it.
Sick.
But yeah, so that's ultimately what a VA is and why we, when we first integrated them.
We had an interesting conversation, because one thing that I've found is that testing out hiring in-house and hiring a VA is a complete paradigm shift. Like, it's completely different. I've paid people 2K a month, 5K a month for social media management, for example. And the difference is there is none. The guy you pay for 5 is doing the exact same thing as the guy you pay for 2.
Same work.
And then you get a VA for $500 a month that's doing the exact same thing as well. So it's interesting that you can have a virtual assistant. And by virtual assistant, this is somebody that you hire in the Philippines. They might be in Indonesia or anywhere around the world, but in an area where the wage is a lot lower. The minimum wage that they get is, how much is that? $500.
Oh no! The minimum wage is like in some cases like $100 to $200 a month.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And these guys can be people that have degrees. These guys understand and speak perfect English, but they don't get paid the same. Similar to Dubai. Right?
100%, yeah.
We can go to a restaurant, and inside this restaurant, people are getting paid on what their passport is worth. In Dubai, you get paid on where your passport is from and the minimum wage of that country. So there could be 2 people doing the exact same job, but because you're from this country where the minimum wage is $5 an hour, or you're from this country where the minimum wage is $7, you'll get paid equivalent to that. Now that means that you can hire somebody with the exact same experience, with even more education, and you can pay a lot less. And, when we first reached out to you guys told us about this virtual assistant thing, and it's interesting because me and my business partners also called Ryan.
We've been through that.
We had the same epiphany.
Yeah.
Because it was like, why are we paying these guys? Especially English people who just turn up, they work 9 to 5, they complain, they always ask for more money, and they do the least amount of work.
It's so true.
Ridiculous.
So true, yeah. Culturally, I mean, we predominantly specialise in outsourcing to the Philippines. Our VAs are all from the Philippines, and culturally, they're just amazing people. They just light up the room, like
100%.
When everyone, they just got great energy. They are so happy. Every task, whether it's like monotonous, sending 1,000 emails a day,
they'll just do it.
They'll just do it, and they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because for them, one, they're a part of something great. They're a part of a growing company. They're a part of a community of people. That a lot of them don't have the opportunity to work in Western companies and countries as well, and therefore it's such a great opportunity for them that they're so grateful, and that then shines through their work as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that they're so
they're just excited and happy to be there.
That's it. The main thing.
They're grateful. So many people in the UK especially are ungrateful about opportunities. You put opportunity in front of somebody, and they're like, oh no, but this, that, the other, my dog, cat, you know what I mean? And it's just like...
Oh, they want you to do even more for them.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm giving you this on a plate. Yeah. Now they want you to feed me as well.
Exactly. You know what I mean? What you're talking, pick up, you know what I mean? Yeah. And VAs often ask to do more work.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
Yeah, you can't keep up something. You were saying this, it's like, what can I give you?
Yeah, I'm getting a message from my VA, and she's like, don't be offended, but... I want more work to do. And I was like, offended. I was like, I'm excited. Like,
I'm ecstatic,
what I mean? Right,
yeah.
Let's try this new thing. Let's try that. Let's split test this. Let's split test that. And it's interesting because we never thought about, early in the company to start with VAs. So, for somebody that wants to start and, start off with a VA, and maybe they've got an agency or online business, what part of their system would you recommend to import a VA first?
I would definitely say customer acquisition, 100%. Because acquiring clients, cold outreach takes volume. Yeah. There's no two ways about it. It takes volume and it takes personalization. So you can't just copy and paste. You can't just spam a message, copy and paste. It's not going to be well received by your audience. It has to be personalized. And by personalized, make a comment about something you see on their Instagram, or, a client they've recently worked with, we've done a really good job. And it shows you've actually done a bit of background research. You actually know the company you're reaching out to. So that'll give you a much higher sort of success rate when you're doing your cold outreach. But to do that is so time consuming.
Yeah.
So when you're running a business, you're talking to clients, you're on the phone, you've got meetings, you're doing networking events. It's almost impossible. Well, it is impossible to do 100, 150 DMs a day.
And you know what's funny?
With personalization.
There are so many courses and coaches out there that will say, join our course, we're guaranteed to increase the amount of clients you get. And once you sign up, it's just a glorified way of saying do more volume.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
They'll be like, here's our DM script, send DMs. Here's our Facebook script, send messages on Facebook. Here's this, send more, do more volume. And it's like, you could just import a VA to do that.
100%. I was going to say as well, with that, you don't learn either.
You don't learn, yeah. Exactly.
When you get a VA and you're testing your own scripts, you're trialing new things out. You actually learn the process, and you learn what goes into a well-received email and well-received DM, and therefore you can scale it. But when you're taking guidance off somebody else, it's just like, oh, boom, send this out, spam it. You don't really get into why that's working. You don't really break it down and dissect the actual, the elements of that actual outreach and the sales process. So I'd 100% recommend starting using a VA for sales, customer acquisition, and not necessarily the closing side of things, but the monotonous, labor-intensive outreach. That's the best starting point.
100%. So tell me more about this new venture that you had with the VA side. 'Cause I know you've got your agency, but we were speaking earlier and you said you had some huge Fortune 500 companies reaching out to you to input VAs in their system and to cut their expenses and what they're doing. So tell me a little bit more about this. Yeah,
cool. Yeah, I mean, a super exciting opportunity for myself. One of the reasons I'm in Dubai at the moment. But yeah, we had a company reach out to us recently. They're already in 70 different countries around the world. They've got 240 partners, so other businesses that they partner with. And the idea is like an all-in-one customer service hub for every single business.
Crazy.
So if you were, if you're in Dubai and you wanted to look for a shisha bar, you could type in on this app shisha bar, and then it would bring up all the shisha bars. It would bring in all the ratings from, say, Trustpilot, Google. It would then have all their frequently asked questions, as well as quick links to all the customer service channels. And it's just a real convenient way, basically, it's like a directory, when you find what you want, but you've got those frequently asked questions. And the idea with it is it removes the customer service element of the business completely.
Yeah, massively.
It's just one big objection handle right at the start. So we've been in talks with them, got the meeting through a VA. Of course, we practice what we preach. So another thing, the VAs, they're on cold calls for me now. So she called this person up, booked in a meeting with myself. From there, I think the email thread's got about 190 back and forth emails. So it's been a really long-winded process. But yeah, it's a huge opportunity for us.
How much time have you spent on those emails?
Not as much as the normal person without a VA. a lot of the emails were my VA. The technical things, costing, that kind of stuff that I had to be there to obviously go through. But yeah, we've literally just had the go ahead. Contract's been sent out. So yeah, we make a start very soon.
What did they enjoy about having a VA in their system?
So they don't actually have the VA in the system yet, but what they liked about the idea is how scalable it is. They don't have a capacity on how many people can sign up to this app. So they know if they find something that works, i.e. a VA doing cold calls and outreach for them, they can just scale that to the moon.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Onboard more.
100%. And I think for them, the cost saving aspect, the skill level, they're getting somebody cheap and high skilled, which is unheard of. And it still baffles people to this day. It's like the equation. You either get, good, fast, cheap. You can either have good and fast, but it's not cheap. You can either have cheap and fast, but it's not good. Or you can either have good and cheap, but it ain't fast. But this kind of blows that out of the water a little bit.
Yeah. Get good and fast and cheap.
Good and fast and cheap, exactly. Which is almost like an unheard of equation or an outcome. I think that for them was the idea that really sort of got them hooked. And of course the success record, case studies. I mean, that's the main thing. Just showing them past people's success using this model. It just blew them away. They were like, right, okay, it was a no-brainer.
And the optimization is what I liked as well, because you mentioned that some of these companies are just looking at it from a numbers point of view. When you look at it from a numbers point of view, you can have a few hundred employees paying them, $10 an hour doing X amount of work. And obviously they're not in the office seeing this every day, so it wouldn't matter if they're online or not. But then when you look at a numbers point of view, well, if you're paying them all $10 an hour and you can get the same amount of work from the same amount of people online for $5 an hour,
why would you not?
50% free money. Right,
and that's it. And I think that actually leads me on to a good point, because obviously there is an element of trust there, because you can't micromanage this person within the office. So that's what we do essentially at the company. We assign success managers to every single VA. So they track all their daily activities. They track the screen, they have screen recording. So they watch what they do all day. And we can guarantee that they are getting what they pay for, essentially.
Interesting.
Which I think, you go to Fiverr and Upwork. I did a post about this the other day on my LinkedIn, on my TikTok, sorry. You go to Fiverr and Upwork, and there's tons of VAs on there. Yeah. One, they're quite expensive for what they are. Two, as I mentioned, economies of scale come into play. So people then build staffing agencies or assistant agencies and then go to a platform like Fiverr and Upwork, and they'll try and deliver too much at one time, and therefore that affects the service and the quality, because this one VA will be working on 5 businesses.
Exactly. Your VAs are in-house.
Yeah, they're in-house essentially. Yeah. So they are assigned to that one business and that one business only.
Yeah, our VA is like 9 to 5.
Yeah, exactly.
So comes in 9 o'clock, active. Makes me excited to get to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
I go on my Slack and I'm like, she's like, good morning. I'm like, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, 9 to 5. Active. It's an interesting concept, because like you said, most VAs are taking on multiple projects. Like
100%.
We've tested VAs with you, and we've tested VAs through Upwork. When you go for a VA directly through Upwork, that VA is obviously still on Upwork, so she's getting jobs on other sides.
That's it, yeah, 100%.
And you ask some of these VAs, like, we'll have a VA and we'll give her a task. Well, she's putting that task in in a hierarchy of things that she's got to do. Whereas if I give my VA a task right now, that's her number one priority. So they're putting an SOP for the day, like, I'm going to do this, and it gets done.
I think the reason for that is because, Fiverr and Upwork, again, either people are too expensive or they're too cheap. There's no happy medium. And when people are too cheap, they have to take on more work because they get paid by the hour. Yeah. They need to do more hours. Whereas with our VAs, we pay them real good salaries in comparison. We leverage something called purchasing power parity, which is just the equivalent of buying goods in a different country. Well, the comparison to buying the same service or the same quantity of goods in another country, but where the cost of everything is lower, essentially. So it means that we can pay really fair wages, which means that our VAs aren't interested in going anywhere else. They're not interested in having another job somewhere else. They can predominantly focus on that business. And because of the whole, the cost of living in other parts of the world, it means that we can bring a cheaper service as well. Yeah, exactly. So it's a win-win situation.
And they're getting paid a lot more than most people.
100%,
even if you come to Dubai, like I said, it's down to their passport. So they would get paid even more.
Yeah, and a place like Dubai where everything's super expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't make any sense that well.
100%. So as an entrepreneur then, let's look at some of the concepts that you follow. I know you mentioned that you've done 75 hard, so I'm interested to hear about your experiences with that, and some of the other personal development journeys that you've been on. So to get started, how was 75 day hard?
It was hard. Not to sugarcoat it. It was challenging. I've attempted it once before and failed.
Really?
Yeah, failed.
What day?
27. Do you want to know?
Halfway there.
I don't know if I can say why I failed on camera. But,
oh no.
Well, that's another story. But yeah, I failed the first time due to bad habits and temptation.
Yeah.
Temptation was the big one, and that was years ago. That was at the start of my entrepreneurial journey. So that was that was after we'd done the mindset stuff and whatnot. It was a bit further down the line. We just had a lot going on, and I just mentally wasn't framed for it. A couple of years in business, going through the trenches, and I was just a completely different mindset. So it was hard. I mean, it was easier than I thought it was going to be, but it was super challenging. The first time round we did it, we actually threw in cold showers. Yeah, so it was, as I was saying, it wasn't as... It was hard. The first time we did it, the first time round, we'd done it as a part of a program, which wasn't actually the official 75 hard. It was something that somebody else had made up.
And then do you know, there's so many people doing that.
Yeah.
And do you know what it is? As a businessman, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do appreciate it, because even my cousin the other day, she was like, you know, there's all this like woman empowerment going on.
Yeah, of course.
Right? It's like woman empowerment, and so many, you know, I'm not going to brand it as just women, because men do it too. You know, it's probably a lot of men do it, of course. But they're white labeling other people's shit.
Yeah, 100%.
And then running their whole business around.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, this one was like, there was some mad stuff in there. So there was like, no, you couldn't masturbate as one of the things. Cold showers.
Failed that then.
Yeah.
What, can you see the missus?
Yeah, you could see your missus. Yeah. So you're all good on that front. That one wasn't too much of a challenge. But yeah, there was cold showers. You had to do a 5-minute cold shower.
5-minute cold shower?
And I did this when we started, was in January.
Or you just be screaming and shit.
Yeah, trust me, with shadow boxing, everything. Like, but there's no feeling like that. Like, people do cold plunges, that kind of stuff. There's no feeling like getting out of that cold shower. But again, like, it was just super raw, intense stuff, and that's not in the actual 75 hard challenge.
Yeah, it's not.
So the 75 hard challenge was 45 minutes outdoor exercise a day. So go on a run, a bike ride, whatever. 45 minutes indoor every day. You then had to read 10 pages of a book. Mm-hmm. You had to eat a clean, strict diet. So it's just protein, basically, just lean meat and fruit. That was pretty much it for 2 weeks. 2 weeks for 75 days. And then you had to drink a gallon of water a day as well, which was probably
challenging.
Yeah, that's the hardest bit.
You feel like you're going to be sick.
Yeah, trust me. And you piss like a racehorse all day.
Yeah, literally.
So yeah, that was the hardest bit. But I think once you get into it, once you get past the halfway mark, it becomes your lifestyle, and you form the habits. Mm-hmm. I think, what is it, like 28 days to form a habit? Yeah. So then once you've got in the routine of it, it just becomes the norm. But what I found was I really recluse. Like, I wasn't going out. I wasn't antisocial in the sense, but there's so much temptation and so much distraction out there. Sometimes when you're on a mindset journey, you're on an entrepreneurial journey, you need to remove yourself from those situations.
And what's weird is it shows how some people are, because other people want to bring you down. And they'll see you on that 75-day challenge,
wow.
And they'll try to test you, like they want to see you. It's weird. It shows that some people don't want to see you win.
Just like put a beer in your face or a spliff or whatever it is.
And it shows you true friends, because it's like they know that you're trying to do this for a reason, yet they'll try to pull you out of it.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they'll come up to you, gaff. They'll drink alcohol. They'll fuck about it, but they'll message you like, are you coming out?
If you want to accomplish anything, remove all temptations.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? People always want to try to stop you from becoming successful, not intentionally. And this is one thing that I had to understand when I first got started, right? Because I thought that it was other people trying to hold me back. So I'd be thinking like, this guy's just, fuck these guys, they don't want to be successful, let me just allow them. But it's not. It's their own limiting beliefs. Yeah. They don't believe that it's possible for them to do it. Yeah. Because they think that they could never do 75-day hard, they're going to try to get you out of it. And
probably they don't do it subconsciously.
Exactly.
They're not aware they're doing it.
Exactly.
And I think this is where there's a difference when some people react. So like, if you react to every situation instead of observing, and that's what I've learned through meditation. Mm-hmm. If you react to
observe your thoughts. That's a mad one. Like thoughts, like clouds.
Yeah, they come into your head and they go, and it's the ones that you latch onto that then become your reality.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's like it's the same principle when somebody appears to be trying to stop you doing something that you want to do, or they can see it's bringing success. It's subconscious potential jealousy. All these things are subconscious. They're not even aware of it or of what they're doing. So then some people would react, and then they would argue with them, and then they would fall out with them, and they would push them away as a friend. And although not rightly so, but although fair enough, that person might be pushing you off your trajectory, they're not doing it intentionally. And I think that when you, like you say, it's something that people they can't control. I think out of
ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Like Marcus Aurelius goes, "Be strict with yourself and lenient of others." That is the
Mad.
craziest concept that I've ever heard. Because a lot of times, when you're strict with yourself, you're strict on everything. You're strict on your environment. You're strict on other people. Like, I'm a fault of that as well. If I go gym, and like you'll see, like me and Ryan live together, right? It's me, Ryan, and like one of our other friends, right? I'll come back from the gym, fucking peaked off of testosterone, feeling like I've just fucking conquered the planet, right? Come back home. And if I see somebody like not in the gym, I'll be like, "Yo, bro, you should be going. You're slacking, bro." And sometimes I have to think, remember, be straight with yourself and lean on others. It doesn't matter what the other person's doing. Let them do it.
100%.
You lead by example, and eventually they'll follow.
100%.
You know what I mean? Because your energy just floats off onto other people. But at the end of the day, so that's the interesting concept. That 75-day hard, what is interesting. So
Yeah.
what was the difference that you found from the beginning, to the end of 75-day hard?
Yes, that's a good question, actually. I mean, I'll be honest, in terms of my mindset when I went into it, I felt it was already pretty bulletproof at this point, but it just sort of set in stone that I can accomplish anything I put my mind to, genuinely.
Facts.
After failing it the first time and coming back again and doing it and smashing it, it was like, boom, okay, everything I thought I knew about myself, I know, yeah. And just like, yeah, it just solidified everything.
That's crazy. Because sometimes you have to, sometimes you got to confirm it to yourself.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you got to confirm
even if you know it, even if you've lived it for years.
Yeah.
You just got to remind yourself sometimes that you can do it.
Me and Ryan said that once we hit 100 mil profit, we're going to do it again for the sake of it.
Yeah.
So once we hit 100 mil, obviously I'm probably going to go travel, go to Egypt, do all these like mad things, right? But then we're going to start another business just to prove it to ourselves and know that
you can redo it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to say, like, you know what? Skill.
Can replicate it, yeah.
Pure skill. And it'd probably be easier, to be honest, because I'll just fucking call up all the same people, say, look, let's go. Or maybe I'll just start an agency again on Upwork. You know what I mean? Just start sending proposals. You know what I mean? Why not?
Yeah, no.
I would love those sales calls, just to be sat there, just knowing. Like, I still love it now. Like, when I hop on a sales call and I speak to another business, and I look at my business, we've got all our ducks in order. We've put in the hard work, put in the grind, and this other business owner is looking for our service. I feel way more confident on the call because I know that my ducks are in order.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of times like when you're coming up the ladder and you're speaking to a business and that business is like huge, like this, it feels like overwhelming just talking to
Yeah,
them.
100%.
You know what I mean?
You've been there.
You know what I mean? But when you've got your ducks in order, you can you meet at like an eye level.
100%.
It's very interesting. The way the conversation works is completely different as well.
Yeah, it was like I was saying to you the other day. I mean, I had a call with a guy with a company portfolio of 100 companies under his belt, with a property portfolio of 40,000 properties, with 40,000 properties and 11,000 employees.
That bank must be
silly.
It must look like a fucking trading chart.
Yeah, 100%. And if I had that call a year ago, 6 months, a year ago, completely different conversation. But I know we have a service that is of high value, easy application to a lot of businesses, and I know my shit now with it. You know what I mean? It's
Facts.
Like you say, I've got my ducks in order. So I was having a conversation with this guy worth hundreds of millions, if not touching on billions, but leveling with him, having a laugh with him.
Yeah.
And it was like so surreal to me
you can
that
recognize that. Yeah.
And that's it, and it comes through. Then it's energy.
Yeah,
People can feel your energy, and they know if you're confident. People can tell if you're not confident. They can just read the energy. And again, it's a subconscious thing.
Yeah.
Some people are conscious and aware that they can read energy. Other people just, when you get a bad vibe from somebody, it's because you're reading their energy, and it's just not. It's all wrong.
It's not matching.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly. 100%.
I just wanted to touch on that though, because you mentioned about the Upwork thing.
Yeah.
Because our sales outreach method was cold outreach, DMs. You guys do a lot of Upwork stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
I was quite interested to just sort of understand a little bit more about maybe not the process, but sort of just what's involved with that. Because I know you've got to set up an account and you've got to build trust and credibility and stuff, don't you? And I think
so Upwork's an interesting platform, right? It's a completely different concept to most businesses. Cold outreach, you're reaching out to other people.
Yeah.
And cold outreach, for people that don't know, is when you DM somebody on Upwork. When you DM somebody on Instagram or any social media, maybe LinkedIn, when you do an ad, right? If you put an ad there and the person's not interested in it, you're reaching out to them cold, right? You're putting
100%.
your business in front of them.
Yeah.
Whereas I see Upwork as you're missing the first step. You're going straight to warm or lukewarm.
Yeah.
Right? These people are already interested. They already want the service. They're posting that they need help.
Yeah, that's true.
You're
You're there like, I can help.
I can help.
Yeah, 100%.
This is what's so crazy. Upwork is the only platform which is very similar to your other job platforms. You know, these forgot what it's called, Indeed.
Indeed,
right?
yeah.
Very similar to Indeed, right? And Indeed was actually one of my old outreach strategies.
Really?
Yeah, when I was in university, I used to put my same offers on Indeed and email the business and send them cold looms as well.
Yeah, that's
Because I
sick.
already
We
know
did
they
the
need
cold
it,
loom strategy.
Yeah, I'll be like, I'll send them an email. I'll be like, oh, hey, I seen on Indeed that you wanted this service. You know, I want an agency that provides this. And it always used to work.
Yeah.
People be like, yeah, I need it. You know what I mean?
100%,
And
yeah.
I used to say to them, like, look, instead of hiring somebody for 40K a year, paying obviously tax on that, having to pay them a salary, they're not going to be working Monday to Sunday. You can hire me for half the price. I'll do double the amount of work with a guarantee.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, you don't pay.
Yeah,
People will
so
be like,
nice.
okay, I can even hire this person. It's not going to do fuck all. Complain, just be in my face all day and have to interview 100 applicants. But I can take this guy
Yeah.
who clearly knows what he's doing.
And I think it's interesting because you know, there's so many different ways. Like,
It's crazy, right?
there is, like, we never did that model, built a successful agency. You know, you
Yeah.
built an incredibly successful agency with a completely different model. And then there are other people we chat to that have done it completely other different ways. Do you know what I
Literally
mean?
through, like, TikTok.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%. And I think this is the whole thing with, like, getting started. There's no right or wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
It's all about just taking the first step, having a mentor, having somebody that can just, you know, like we said earlier, just usher you through it, reassure you that you are on track. And then you just make your own way. You find your own winners. You get a VA, somebody that can test for you on your behalf, and there's so many applications to it.
It's crazy that business, in my opinion, is just like martial arts. You know, you go into a fight with somebody, it doesn't matter whether they've done fucking Krav Maga, judo, kickboxing, karate, whatever. They're going to show you what they've got. They'll show you some skills, and they've got their own way of doing it.
100%, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are very critical and try to judge and say that there is one way. But when you go into a fight with somebody, it's like, it doesn't matter what they do. A strike's a strike. You get kicked in the head. Doesn't matter whether it's up, down, left, right. You get kicked in the
Don't
face.
matter where the foot come from, you're on the floor.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Doesn't matter what technique they're doing, right? So it's interesting because exactly the same in business. People can send emails. They can do outreach on like online and through, you know, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever, right? There is not one way. And it's like Bruce Lee says, there is no one way.
Yeah.
Right?
No
And
way.
the issue that we have currently with marketing is everybody uses that same scarcity method where they say, fuck this method, this is what works.
Yeah, this is the only way.
And that's just marketing, and people never see it. I could say, you know, if drop shipping's dead, start social media marketing, right? It's not. You could start drop shipping, it might work for you, right? Social media marketing might not work for you. There are so many different business models that you can do. And at the end of the day, I believe that the process is just committing to one thing and just trying it. You know, because I've done drop shipping, worked, ran hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of ads with it, works, right? I've done social media marketing, works, affiliate marketing, works, crypto, works, right? Every single method actually
Just find your
works.
own way to do it.
Exactly, you just make it work. You know
I
what
think,
mean?
yeah, that's very true. I don't think it matters what you do, really, as long as you commit to it
Exactly.
and you test.
The struggle is that, you know, we was talking about this earlier, that 9 to 5 mindset. Most people don't commit to it. They commit more to their 9 to 5, going out on the weekends and bothering about what people are doing on Instagram more than their own business.
Yeah, like this is a Saturday right now, we're filming this.
Yeah, it's a Saturday, chilling, right?
I'm on holiday in Dubai.
Exactly, you're on holiday. You know what I mean?
But that's it. And I think when you remove the veil of, like, because we're conditioned as humans, like, we're conditioned to fit into the 9 to 5 system, Monday to Friday, you live for your weekends. I think when you get rid of all of that, you get past all of that, and every day just becomes a new opportunity to better yourself and grow. When you get into that mindset, because this is an interesting thing that I've kind of come to understand over the years. Everybody knows things, but very few people understand things,
them, yep,
and I think that's such a powerful thing. Like,
yep, I'll tell you why. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody that you know they're not doing the right habits because you look at them, they're fat, broke, unsuccessful, But when you have a conversation with them, they seem to know everything.
Yeah,
They seem
100%.
to know it all.
Yeah.
Right, but they only know it so they can have a conversation.
He
They're
who
not
knows
doing
everything learns
No,
nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
Exactly. And
Look at us getting all stoic on it.
literally, stoicism, the whole nother thing. That's
Yeah.
we'll have to have a whole nother party on that.
It is sick. Yeah.
Stoicism is so powerful. But the interesting thing I see is with that same concept, I don't think people understand what the matrix actually is. Because the matrix is all about programming and reprogramming your subconscious. We are programmed to a 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
We're programmed to have bad habits. We go to Asda or Tesco's. We processed meat.
Mm-hmm.
You was telling me that free range and even free range is 1 square meter.
Yeah, something silly like a cubic meter.
A cubic meter. That's not free range at all. You know what I mean? That's bird food, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
It's pasture raised, what you want.
Exactly.
It's like 100 square meters.
So we need pasture it, right? We're programmed to work in a office or work in a factory the same way that schools have been set up. When you go to a school or college or university, it's seat in a factory line, and you're taught by one person. Similar to how you're taught in a church. Seat, taught by one person that actually doesn't understand what they're talking about. They're just preaching whatever thing that they've read.
Yeah.
They don't have a deep understanding of that knowledge.
And it's interesting, the one person thing.
Exactly.
It's a mentality where you put your faith into somebody with a status or authority. In school, the teacher has the authority. You listen to what they say. So when you come out of school, you go into a job, and the person in front of you at work that has the authority, you listen to what they say. And nobody listens to what they say. Nobody listens to themselves.
Exactly. People don't even understand how to listen to themselves. They can't. You put them in a room where they're quiet anybody in a room for 30 minutes with no phone, where they have to sit in raw silence. They'll go insane.
Yeah.
They'll start bugging out, or they'll go to sleep. Right? Because they can't bear to sit with their own thoughts. The matrix is based on resetting your own programming. You have to look back and look at all of the things that you have subconsciously been programmed for and reset and find your own path. Because at the end of the day, they say that within our DNA, we have thousands of years of history that we can access in our own DNA. Right? One strand of DNA is supposed to have thousands of years of history. So that means you are not learning new things. You're just understanding things.
100%.
So you already have the answers, right? This is why people can, watch podcasts, watch YouTube, and it's the same thing over and over again. But they'll never take the action to actually understand it themselves.
They just hear it and they know it, but they don't understand it. And I think it's about internalizing something.
100%.
And that comes through repeating it.
100%.
Getting
the reps in.
Yeah, I was going to say the fundamental aspect of marketing, obviously we'll know in marketing agencies, is repetition.
Yeah.
The more time somebody sees something, it takes about 6 to 7 times for somebody to see a brand before it clicks in their head and they think, all right, that's a stand-up brand, they're a reputable company, I'm going to buy from them. And that is just a psychological trick. So that's, in the eyes of the Matrix and whatever, that's something that's sort of, deployed to keep people thinking and having certain thoughts and thinking a certain way and acting a certain way.
Exactly, yeah.
Because you get, you're watching telly, you see adverts consistently.
Yeah.
The adverts show you the same thing. Then, enough times you see it, you buy it because you think you want it, but you don't actually want it. You've just been programmed to think that you want it.
Exactly. And this is why the news plays every single day at the same time. Mm-hmm. And they say the same shit. Sometimes they do morning, afternoon, evening. You know what I mean? The news has been negative for the past how many years? You know what
Forever.
I mean? Forever.
Do you know, you just said something in the morning. So I saw a video recently about the spells of the English language.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it?
Bro, that blew my mind.
Yeah,
so like morning, you're in a morning, as everybody knows, when somebody dies, you're in a state of mourning. So when you say good morning to somebody, it's putting a positive spin on something negative. But because we speak, what we say comes back to us.
You know what we say? What? We say grand rising.
Grand rising, yeah, exactly.
You know
good day, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Grand rising.
Grand rising.
And if you were to train yourself to say that every day, when you wake up, I was going to say morning then. Every day when you wake up, you'll have a better day. Like there's no two ways about it.
So this is also an interesting thing about the English language that I learned. So when it comes to languages, right, we already know Chinese people, smart as fuck. Why? Because the language is hard as fuck, right? The most spoken language of the world is English. the lowest vibration, as in the words that come out your mouth, you measure it on a thing, the vibration that comes out is English.
That's mad. By design.
Ridiculous, right? So you've got a low vibrational frequency with spells in that we used to speak Latin, and they've shortened it around, changed all the words.
Yeah.
And they've got everybody speaking.
Because that's
bullshit.
it. It's just like when we take it right back, like magic's this heebie-jeebie shit. But when you write something down, when you learn to put letters together, you are spelling.
Yeah.
You are casting a spell.
Spelling. Right.
That shit just blew my mind.
It's mad, right?
There was another example of it, and I just thought, like, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was another example of things that we say, and it's just like,
and this is why it doesn't get me why people don't do positive affirmations.
100%, yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody feels cheesy about doing it and getting the reps in with that, but if you think about how many words you say, if I go ask somebody how you doing, they'll be like, oh, I'm all right. I'm good. How are you? You know what I mean? When people say, how are you to me, I'm like, I'm fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
On a great day.
It's okay, I'm fucking sick, mate. You know what I mean? And then, it's the thing, it's also sick. How are you doing? I'm sick.
Yeah. You're not.
That's mad, isn't it? See what I'm saying? There's so many little words in the English language, which when you really analyse what you're actually saying, is not the right thing to say.
Yeah, 100%. Because you're affirming to the universe. As we talk on a level of vibration, when you say something, the vibration goes out, and then it creates your universe, in theory. And it's when you say sick, so it's like when somebody's ill, you know, if say somebody, God forbid, had cancer or whatever, and you said, you know, how are you doing? If that person was to say, oh, not very well, I'm ill, I'm this, then they are
confirming it.
They're confirming with themselves they're not well.
Yeah.
I know people, my stepmom for one, who recently had breast cancer, and she has a bulletproof mentality. She is a boss lady. Like, when she told me, I'd looked at her and I just said, it's good, you've got it. And she looked back at me and she was like, yeah, you know what? I fucking do. She got rid of it. 6 months, she was sound.
And this is the interesting thing, because if you don't believe in that, then look up the placebo effect, right? The placebo effect is when you go to a doctor, and you say, oh, you know, you're ill, you're struggling, you know, you struggle to X, Y, and Z, and the doctor gives you a pill. It looks just like a pill. They say, take this 3 times a day, you're going to feel better, and it's just sugar. And you take it 3 times a day, and you feel better. And they did a test. It's science, Oxford, all of that shit that you want to study. The same people that you believed what made you sit inside for the past 2 years were the same people that did this test. And what they found was the exact same effect of whether you give somebody, you know, ibuprofen or aspirin and these type of things, or if you give them sugar with the exact same process, as long as you prescribe it to them and make them go through that go through that test. So what's actually happening there is you thinking that this pill is going to make you feel better makes you better.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is ridiculous.
And I think that, you know, to conclude where we've gone with this, it all loops back to business.
Exactly.
If you start off by telling yourself, I can't do this, I can't be a businessman, I can't run a company, you won't, because you've not opened your mind up to the possibilities of it. Mm-hmm. The second you say, I can do this, and you've got to believe it, that's the difference, you have to believe it. But the way you believe it is by affirming it and repeating
Getting the reps in.
And then and it's weird because you have a click and then you get that little buzz in your belly and you're like, fucking hell, I can do it. Yeah. And then you go and do it and you're like, boom, right, we're off.
Yeah, this is one of the craziest things that happens with my students, right? Because I did it tactically, right? I've mentored for over 5 years now. And what I've found is there are little things that you can do with people to make them work better. Now, we were speaking,
each individual people as well, they all have their own ticks.
Exactly. And we were speaking with Cam, right? And he was saying that when he goes to his office, you know, my friend's a real estate agent, and when he goes to his real estate office, there's a big board on that wall, and it puts up how long it's been since you've had your last sale, and everybody can see it. So it's pure peer pressure in that office.
Yeah, big accountability.
Yeah, big accountability, right? One interesting thing that I've got in my community is I have a community channel. And in that community channel, every time somebody gets a client, they post a message in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've seen what Rufus was doing. I've closed 2 clients there, I've closed 3 clients there, I've closed this client, that client. Right? And obviously it's real, because there's no point doing it if it's fake. You're just lying to yourself.
100%.
No point, right?
That's it.
So as they close clients, they're putting it in there. And what you'll see is all of these people started at the same time. So they all started the 3-month program at the same time. And some people, it takes them a few months to become successful, for a few weeks, few days, whatever. But once they start seeing other people who started at the exact same time, doing the exact same program, at the exact same steps, having success,
Boom.
confirms it to
Yeah,
them.
100%.
And they're like, you know what, it doesn't matter. Because if this guy can do it, I can. If this guy can do it, I can. And it just works.
And I think that's an important factor for like who you surround yourself with.
100%.
Like when we first started, I didn't know anyone. I mean, we knew our mentors at the time, which obviously really helped because again, through mentors, you meet people.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think, you know, as time's gone on, you know, you rub shoulders with more influential people, you know, people that have been incredibly successful.
Mm-hmm.
And it just affirms to you, you're on the right path, you're going in the right direction, you're meeting the right people, and you can obviously learn a hell of a lot from other people that have been where you have been.
100%. So look, I think we'll wrap that up there. We've covered a lot.
We have.
We've covered, you know, how you got started. We've covered about agencies, how to start an agency. We've covered about implementing a VA and the benefits of that. We've also covered, you know, 75-day hard and the different things you know, involved in that. We've covered your environment, you know, people around you, how to stay on the right vibration. So I think to conclude, one question I always ask people that we go on a podcast with, or a trick that I use for influential people that I meet, any person that is successful that I meet, ask them this question. That is, what is your biggest success and what is your biggest failure in your life, in anything, business, you know, career, personal, anything?
I think my biggest success has been starting a business. I think that, I mean, you have successes. Every time you achieve something, you have a success. But I think the biggest success has been taking the first step and just, you know, just jumping into something. Because look at the world it's opened us up to. We pulled up in a Lamborghini Urus today. Like, what the fuck? We're sat in an office.
Nuts, isn't it?
We're in an office looking out over the, not even an office. Well,
palm.
fucking office. This
whole
thing's
floor.
like a whole floor. Yeah,
Looking
out over the palm. Like, it's just, I think that, you know, just taking that first step has led me on this road. So I think that my biggest success was taking the leap, getting a mentor and starting a social media marketing management agency, whatever it is. Biggest failure, that's an interesting one actually. I think biggest failure has maybe come from personal settings, really. Maybe not spending as much time with family and friends and, you know, doing the meaningful shit, because you can get so caught up sometimes in your own life and what you've got going on, you can neglect others, and then sometimes it's too late and you know what I mean, you failed them, or you failed yourself in that sense. 100%.
What did you learn from those failures?
Well, of course, learned to humble myself. I think take more time to really focus on what matters. At the end of the day, you know, all this business stuff is great, but health, happiness, family, well-being, you know, if you don't have any of that, there's no point. You've got nothing to enjoy all of this with, if you see what I mean.
100%. So look, man, thank you for coming on the show.
Of course,
Where
always.
can everybody find you?
They can find me on my Instagram at jackrobson35. They can find our VA company at v.a.2.u.
Sick.
And that's all you need to know.
Sick.
You can get everything from there.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure that you like, comment, and share this with a friend. You know, there's a good thing called positive feedback loops. And that's if you do one good thing, it doesn't have to be crazy. You can end up in a positive cycle. So share this with a friend. They might
Amen.
be, exactly, right? They might be a friend at school. They might be a business colleague. It might be family. But if you know that this person is on the same vibration as you, they want to become successful, they want to learn about business, and they're tired of seeing the same old shit on YouTube, then give them a breath of fresh air and share them this video. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. If you want to look at more videos, take a look at the one there. Peace.